kalpo pratikulla visarjanam. These are within that heading, anukullasya. But this is not one with Hari Bhajan. This is favorable or unfavorable adjustment towards our divine realization. The body, the administration, they are not itself realization. But this may help or may not help our realization. This should be seen from that angle of vision. The favorable adjustment and non-favorable adjustment. But actually, our divine realization does not depend on these arrangements actually. That is something else. That is rather our connection with the infinite possibility and not any limitation. We must be open to anything and everything that is Vaikuntha. Kunta, no measurement, no limitation, no concern with no relativity of with limitation. Limitation. But they may be considered as favorable or unfavorable. So much valuation we can attach to that. This sort of adjustment in this mundane world. But bhajan means our self-surrendering, the infinite consciousness. We must live in the midst of infinite, under the sky. Always we must be under the sky, unlimited. Krishna Ichcha, any desire, any movement, any suggestion may come any time to us, to obey. Such preparedness, we should stand face to face with the infinite will. Infinite will, and expecting that everything comes from Him, that is the necessity and that is the beauty, and that is our destination, face to face, individually or collectively. Whether I am taking Harinam or preaching, everything may be mundane, may be formal, and everything may have its infinite characteristic. Every movement, every step. Only we should be conscious of our environment in such a way. We are living in the eternity. Not any mundane rules, platform, country, province. They are all relative. This, but another relative world is there. Our Guru Maharaj has written Relative Worlds, one book. In Bengali, Paratantra Jagadvaya. two kinds of worlds, self-centered and God-centered. It is relative, that is also relative. But that is God-centered and this is self-centered. It's Maya, Jara-Vilas and Chid-Vilas. Chid-Vilas. The controlling cause there, the satisfaction of Krishna, and here the satisfaction of the sensual persons. Hare Krishna, Gaur Hari Gaur Hari. So a particular action may be bhajan, may be devotion to someone, and may be enjoyment to another one. Only the attitude is concerned. Hare Krishna, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Purity depends upon surrender, degree of surrender. Surrender to the highest cause, prime cause. Surrender to Narayana, surrender to Ramchandra, Dwarakesh, Mathuresh, Brajendrandam, in this way. More and more. Hare Krishna, Gaur Hari Gaur, Gaur Hari Gaur, Gaur Hari. Whether we are taking them or formally we listen and engaged in any sort of activity. But our attitude, our object, internal object, that will decide what is what. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Gaur Hari Gaur. Love and rapture. It may be in the form of love externally or in the form of rapture also externally. But internal adjustment should be considered. That is all important. That is all we have to understand. We have to follow how it is that Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. So it does not depend on the environment, on the dealings of others. Hare Krishna. Ahitukiya Pratihata. None but my own ego. I am my greatest enemy, I am my greatest friend or enemy. Really in me, really in me. No force outside can check if I am right. That may enhance, of course, for a beginner, some concern. But otherwise, that is also the nature of, it will depend on the nature of Sukriti. Nahi kalyana kaschit, durgating tato gacchati, the assurance. I am there. I am there to look after any unfavorable consideration of any one. I am omniscient. I am omniscient. omniscient, I am omnipotent also. So, if anyone is directed towards me, I look after him. And it is also seen in history, Dhruva, Prahlad and so many other cases. Nahi kalyan kaschit durgati dhatu gacchati. Dhatu gacchati. So apprehension has got a limitation, and that comes to improve our position if we can take it in that way. Everything comes to help us. Tattinu kampang susamikkhumano. The most hopeful suggestion to us in all shades of life. Tattinu nahi kalyanu kaschit, from inside and from outside. Tattinu kampang susamikkhumano bhunjaveva. Blame yourself and none else. Take this attitude. That is the perfect adjustment. Blame yourself for your past activity. Don't waste your energy to blame others, to throw mud on the face of others. The energy is only being wasted thereby. Blame, you concentrate whole of your energy in this side, that the blame to you and to appreciation for the Lord, His anukampa, His grace, and we are taking it as undesirable because it does not suit my present taste. The medicine may not be tasteful to a patient. A diet also not may be always tasteful to a patient, but it is conducive to health, wholesome. This is the highest type of regulation of the Shastra. If you can take benefit of this law, in no time you will have a very good position. Tattinu kampang susamikkhumam. Not only to blame the circumstances, but to appreciate. That is He at the back. My best friend is at the back of everything is passing through His eyes, attentive eyes. There cannot be anything, any defect there. Only, even Radharani, she also says, not to blame for this long separation with Krishna. It is only the outcome, a coming out of my fate. He is not to be blamed for this separation, though outwardly it is seen by, admitted by all, he has left us cruelly, but she is not prepared to put the blame on the side of Krishna. Never. No wrong can be found there. There must be something wrong in me which has come out in such form. The competition between the groups in the service, that is also harmonized in this way in Radharani, Kabira's most important point. Radharani says that not that he does not like other party to serve Krishna in competition with her. But her idea is that they cannot satisfy Krishna well. This is to be noted carefully. That her attitude is that they cannot give proper satisfaction to Krishna, so she cannot like them. That is her. That is her contention. If they could serve Krishna well, satisfy him well, I have no complaint. Let them do. But they can't do, but still the aggressor, as aggressor they come to serve. That's the difference. That's the difference. Kaviraj Goswami here cites an example. Kushti Vipri Ramani, Pativrata Shiromani, Potilagi Koila Veshyar Seva. That is a historical reference from Puran. There is one chaste wife whose husband was a leper. She tried her best to serve him. One day, she took her husband to the some holy river, perhaps on the Ganges they lived. And there their husband, he also bathed her husband, but there's one prostitute by name Lakshahira, 1 lakh diamond ray, that is luster. That prostitute went to take bath on the Ganges or some holy river, I don't remember. And the Brahmin, their Brahmins, the leper Brahmins, he felt some charm for that prostitute. Anyhow, he was taken back home, and the chaste wife detected some dissatisfaction, some reaction in her husband. He asked, he inquired, why are you seem to be unhappy? The husband told, I felt some attraction for that, for the beauty of that prostitute. I can't take my mind off. Oh, you want her? Yes, I shall try. Then that lady, she was a Brahmin, but still every day morning she used to go to the house of that prostitute. She was a rich lady, and he used to do the works of maid servants there without any remuneration. And very she did the duty of the maid servant there, and very scrutinizingly, so that it attracted the attention of the mistress, who cleans these areas and do these things so beautifully. And by inquiring, she came to know that one Brahmin lady, she comes and every morning, she does all these things. We try to oppose, but she does not hear. Why? Why she? If she wants to meet you, all right. Tomorrow you may take her to me. And then next morning when she was taken to that prostitute, that Brahmin lady, she expressed that inner motive that my husband is so and so and he is much attracted towards you. And it is my desire that you may satisfy him. It is my lookout at his religious wife that how he will be satisfied. But this is his aspiration, and I like to see him satisfied. Then the lady could understand that prostitute, yes, tomorrow take him, I invite you both to take food in my house tomorrow. That was intimated to the Brahmin, and they came. Of course, there are arrangements for Brahmin cooks, etc., for many things. 2 dishes were served. One, some prasadam, Bhagavad prasadam in a plantain leaf, Ganges water into earthen pot, all vegetarians, fruits, etc. Next, side by the side, in a golden and silver pots, so many mixed and rich dishes they are served. And a good asana, all these things. One sattvic, another rajasic, tamasic. Then she, with folded palms, invited the Brahmins and asked, this is Bhagavad Prasadam in such and such way, and that is the rich dish prepared in such way. Whatever you like, you may take as at your sweet will. Anyhow, the leopard Brahmin, he had the choice of the prasadam, and he accepted that, and he began to take. Then that prostitute, after he has finished his prasad taking, your wife is like this prasadam sattvic, and this is rajasic, meat, rich dishes, gold, silver, all these things. This is mine. I am so and so, and your wife is purest of the pure heart type. Then why, when your taste is for this sattvika, the Bhagavad Prasad, purity, and externally that is very gorgeous, but internally very impure, filthy, why have you come here? Then the Brahmin came to senses, and yes, I am wrong. God has taught me through you that fleeting desires ended, no more now. I am satisfied. You are my teacher in the spiritual line. In this way he went there. Kaviraj Goswami has quoted this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Poti lagi koido vishar seva. The chaste lady, the chaste wife, went to serve the prostitute. Why? For the satisfaction of her husband. So Radharani says that I am ready to serve those opposite, seeming apparently opposite camp. If they can really satisfy my Lord, I am ready to serve. But they can't. They can't. But they have got some demand. I differ in that point. Not that my share is being lessened. That is not my attitude. So, whenever any unfavorable circumstances come, is always hard. Duddhaiva vidas. It is coming from within and not anything to be traced outside. That should be the attitude of a true devotee of Krishna. Krishna. And thereby we will be able to invite good ideas within, which will attract good things, collect good things from the environment to purify me and my position. Or else, though it is not very easy, but still the energy, if possible, should be devoted only to collect good wishes, goodwill from the external circumstances. Try to indulge as much as you can goodwill to purify your own position. Tattenu kampam susamikkhumano. We are encouraged to look deeper. Try to look deeper, and then you will find your friend. Your friend, be liberal. Be liberal in your attitude towards the environment, and you cannot but come in connection with the plane which is really liberal. That is Krishna consciousness. It's our ultimate. In this ultimate reach, you will find Krishna consciousness home. Prahlad boldly met all the adverse circumstances, but ultimately he was victorious. And Prahlad's father's calculation about the environment was falsified. And the Prahlad's calculation came out in flying colors to show that it is his calculation. His deeper vision could read correctly. There is Hari everywhere. Krishna consciousness is commanding the whole. So we must not allow ourselves to be discouraged under any circumstances, however acute apparently it may seem to us. He is there. Uh, as much as the circumstance seems to be apparently very serious and very apathetic to us, but it is not so. The smiling face will come behind the screen of the Lord. Krishna consciousness, Krishna, the type of Krishna, he is beautiful, he is aggressor. He is waiting for us. He is infinite. His consumption has no limit. Eagerly awaiting to accept our services. Only the screen should be removed. And our preparedness must be to that degree of intensity. And that can be that inner wealth can be discovered only by the help of the sadhu, guru, etc. And such scriptures. Association can help us. But the fact is such. The Shastra will also say, the Guru, Sadhu, all will, they are all one, to say it like this. That is all nectar. And you have drawn a screen between the nectar and you are testing the poison, thinking that this is very useful to you. On the whole, think it that no blame to be put to another one. No difficult, but it is the truth. We are responsible for our, in this case, our fallen state. That is the and the path is also similar. Self-condemnation and the appreciation of the environment, especially God and His men, and then gradually everyone. None can give him authority to harm me. All superfluous and misleading. That one can do harm to another, that is misleading on the superficial plane. Ultimately, it is not so. All friendly. When we reach the highest stage of a devotee, we shall see that all our apprehension was wrong, was concocted. Maya, misconception. Maya, misconception. Maya, what is not, that what is not. Maya, miyati, anaya, all measured from the standpoint of measured vision, from that localized or provincialized interest. Not absolute interest. I was guided by provincial or local interest, selfish, and not by universal interest. So that was the cause of all this trouble. Miyate, by measured, not by infinite consideration, but by measured consideration. My angle of vision was guided by measured consideration, miyate anaya, but not from absolute or infinite consideration. So I am suffering, I was suffering. But now that I have come to understand my interest included in the absolute, the infinite interest, I am released. No trouble. It will be like that. So we, a bad workman quarrels with his tools. According to my karma, this environment I am producing, the environment which I am going to blame, that is created by my own karma. So as I used the food, so these tools have come. So I should not go to quarrel with these tools. It is the effect of my own feeding. So I did karma, the result has come as environment. So a bad workman quarrels with his tool. Tool has no, that is innocent, that has got no fault. So karma is such, it is like stool. As we eat, so the stool comes. So that is useless, waste of energy. With the help of the sadhu and the scripture, right, to get out of the disease, diseased hankering, diseased food, selection of the food, take prasadam, Bhagavat prasadam, connect everything with Krishna, not only imaginary connection, the connect everything, that is, try to connect, it has no connection, not so. The connection is there, but you can't detect, try to detect that, everything. Try to live in Krishna, not in measured interest. Then everything will be all right. Whatever you may take Harinam, you may preach, you may write, you may walk, you may meditate, you may worship, you may cultivate. But Jaggathat karma natra lokoyam karma bandhana. It must be for the sacrifice, for the satisfaction of Krishna, representing the whole of the whole. Krishna consciousness. Do everything in Krishna consciousness, and you will be released in no time. And you will be reinstated as a member of Krishna consciousness. Well, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. So Krishna consciousness is infinite, it is not monopoly, but still it is monopoly of the sadhus, gurus, of the scriptures that are promised to distribute it to the misguided. Aham bhakta paradhina. Those that take bath by the feet just of my devotee, that is the road to enter into my land in a submissive way. Vina mahatpada rajobhishekam, vina mahatpada niskincananang novinuta yavat. And also dvaisang matistavat rukkamanghi visat anatthavagammu yadartha mahiyasang pada rajobhishekam. In Prahlad and in Rahugan, in two places it is mentioned very clearly. And only taking bath in the dust, in the pure dust, behind dust of the feet of the Guru and Vaishnava sadhu, that with humble and a prayerful mind, if we try to show our allegiance, surrendered surrender to the smallest advices of the Guru Vaishnava. That is the door through which we can enter into that world by our submissive acceptance of the smallest meanings of the words coming from Guru Vaishnava. That is the door we can enter the Vaikuntha and the Goloka, etc. That is here. No dust of that peaceful life. It is amply, it is infinite. Only we are finite. We are finite. There is no depth of that what we aspire after. Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Gaur Hari Bol. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Nidai Gauranga, they came with that news, that tidings. Come home, come Krishna consciousness. Their earnestness to take us to that domain was unparalleled, unprecedented in the history of the world. And also we are told that their coming also repeatedly occurs every Ashtavinsha Yuga of Brahma, and every Kali Yuga general Harinam. Anyhow, we should not miss the present. Samay Sar Bhartaman. The present time, that is the real capital. Trust no future. Trust no future. You act in the living present. Anumittu javat nisri vasaya. Only the number days, that is this side your death. That is, you may think at your hand. That is your capital, this time. This side the death. After death, where you will be posted, that is uncertain. Don't go to depend on that. It won't be judicious. Only this side the death, the time, that you may have some consideration. Then also Swami, Mandash, Mandavatayu, Mandabhagya, Jhupadruta. These are adverse circumstances. So many diseases are there. Then unfavorable circumstances may be created. So many hindrances. But still the human birth, and only just before the death, so many days you may expect. That is your capital, you may think. The real capital, of course, sadhu sangha, and your cooperation, and the days also. About the time, not so much stress has been given. Sukadeva Goswami, Barang Muhurtam Viditam. One moment perfectly understood. That is enough to begin with, to connect with. That fortunate moment, fortunate second, that take you connection with the right thing, that is valuable. King Paramattasya Bhubhi Parakkhan, hundreds of births, barren, may pass heavy, already passed. But that time is the most fortunate moment and the most valuable moment when we come in connection with Krishna consciousness through any sort of agency. agency. The gentleman, one Parvat Maharaja, who told he got from this one book from the dustbin, who got
trash can.
Yeah, from the
Trash.
dustbin. Yes.
from the dustbin, he collected a book, and that took him to Krishna consciousness. Bhavananda Maharaj told that I was looking at that festival, dancing and chanting around the Rath. What is this? Tamal Krishna Daro. You don't know. Have you heard Krishna? But who is Krishna? Gita, the book you have? No, what is Gita? In this way he went to enumerate and reject everything. Oh, do you know India? Well, yes, I know Hindi, I have heard name country. Well, there a God came as incarnation of Krishna, this, that thing. But anyhow, the circumambulation and dancing and the chanting Hare Krishna, well, I don't know, I associated, I entered in that circular dancing. Then unconsciously, I became unconscious at some time. Then when I had my lost consciousness again, that they are putting some water into the ear of this thing. And I am chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I became devotee. I became devotee suddenly. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. I can't live Hare Krishna. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari. Nidai Gaur Hari Bol, Nidai Gaur Hari Bol. Nidai Gaur Hari Bol, Nidai Gaur Hari. The Mangal's connection, that is more wonderful. He used to come to a prostitute, and the prostitute remarked him, in such unfavorable circumstances, you have come to me in this dead of night, with hail and storm. If a slight portion of this sort of attention you had for Krishna, then you will be how much benefited. But distract the man with it. Yes, it is so. A 100th part of such energy, desperate energy, to be used for the Krishna consciousness, then how we will be benefited, saved. But that turn divine created the turn. Oh, he bowed down to that prostitute and began his journey for Krishna. So, from the smallest incident, most negligent incident also can connect us with Krishna consciousness. Everything is surcharged. Just as the enemy camp push some underground bomb, here a time bomb from here and there, and burst. So, here and there, everywhere, such bombs are posted, placed, and when the bomb burst, and Krishna consciousness comes in. Underground arrangement. We find many places. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Nidai, Gaur Hari Bol, Nidai, Gaur. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur. Sananda kiya the Singhasana Labdha Diksha, beginning. Sananda Singhasana Labdha Diksha. Hatena Kinapi Vayam Satena. Dasi Kata Gupava Dhuvitena. Sananda Singhasanalabdhadiksa Katina Gina Karnamita Kavi Karnapur is saying. And Sukhdev says, Parinishthituvi Nargunde Uttama Shloka Leelaya Grihita Cheta Rajarsi Akkhanam Yadadhitava. Sukhdev says, my case was more hopeless than a Vishoyi. There we have got mal-engagement, but I had non-engagement. Non-engagement. That fate, we have got no engagement, aspiration of perfect rest, no engagement. That is said to be more dangerous. Idleness brings devil's workshop. The idleness to its extremity in Sajujya Mukti, Samadhi. Samadhi. The greatest atheist, type of atheist, the Brahma Samadhi, the most pessimistic. The most pessimistic section, there cannot be any goodness here. Only to equate to zero, that to get relief. All troublesome, only complete withdrawal to non-existence, that is the highest aim of life to everyone. The most pessimistic. And Vaishnavas, they are most optimistic. Most optimistic. Because we are the misguided fools. The intelligentsia, the Gyanis, they dig their own grave. They are very eager to give, to dig their own grave. No, that the highest aim is pessimism. Nothing can be, no utilization, no good exists. What exists, that is all bad. So complete withdrawal. Consciousness means conscious of bad things. So no other alternative but to enter the grave, death. That is their ultimate aim. But optimistic are the Vaishnava, everything good. What is bad is sins, that is only with mind, indiscrimination, mal-decision, that is responsible. But the world, the creation, that is infinite good, worth living life to its extreme highest attainment. Especially the Krishna conscious people. Nothing which does not contribute for this satisfaction of the whole, including myself. Including myself, everything is meant to contribute satisfaction for the whole, including myself. A cooperative goodness and blissfulness, that is the world. World means that the cooperating good units are working together, and there is the master. He is the source of all goodness. The most optimistic conception, the Krishna consciousness. Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Gaur Hari Bol. যদি গৌর না হতো কেমন হইতো কেমনে ধরিতাম দেহি। It is a peculiar sentiment. যদি গৌর না হতো কেমন হইতো কেমনে ধরিতাম দেহে। But why so long you have you are carrying your body, you have come in connection of Gauranga in future. But how you have carried your body so long, you had no connection with Gauranga. Now you think that it is impossible to live without Gauranga. But before this, before you invented Gauranga, how could you live? So the center is here. The past life, the conception of our Sarupa, of our real self is in the center. And without that connection, everything is redundant. That is no life. That is death. That is a dead man's dead body. Here I found that I am living. My life is worth living. I got back the clue of the existence of my life here in Gauranga's advice and the association. The center is here. The past and the future is not the center. Present is the center. We may think that center might have been in the past, but that philosophy has been denied here. The present is the center, and from there the future and the past may connect, go on. It is eternal, life eternal. Everywhere there is center, nowhere circumference. We find that here in Krishna consciousness, oh, it is me, my self is here. Who said that without Krishna consciousness I lived? It was impossible. I am here, I am living here. This is astonishing, wonderful. When one awakes from his slumber, he finds that I am here. So when one gets back to Krishna consciousness, his feeling is like that. That this is my beginning, this is my future, everything here. And that was all others concoction. That was taking me from here just as in dream. We are sleeping in a body, in a bed, and I was taken to some jungle, to some mountain, to some other country. But when we get up, I find I was in the bed. I am in the bed. But I was wandering here and there. So গৌর না হতো কেমনে হইতো কেমন প্রেম রস সীমার আলো কেমনে ধরিতাম দেহি। Without this conception, this prospect, the life of such highest prospect I am meant for. I went away from my prospectus life. How wonderful. That is all imaginary, not real. The reality is that I am living at the feet of Gauranga. That is reality. All others concoction. From here, in a dream, I am going, and sometimes vegetable kingdom, sometimes bird kingdom, sometimes animal kingdom, sometimes ghost kingdom, human kingdom, and wandering. But here I am, in the feet just of Gauranga. Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Gaur Hari Bol. Nidai Gaur Hari Bol, Nidai Gaur Hari Bol. Nidai Gaur Hari Bol, Nidai Gaur Hari Bol. Nidai Gaur Hari Bol. What's the time?
9 o'clock.
Nidai Gaur Hari Bol. 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 Any question? কে তপন আছে নাকি? মহাপ্রভু গোবিন্দ সুন্দর।
How is your finger today? How is your finger today?
Finger. Gradually in the curing process. Pressed in the door here. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Yes.
What was the dissatisfaction that Srila Vyasadeva felt after compiling some of the Vedic literatures, even though some of these literatures had some pastimes of Krishna in them?
What? Why the dissatisfaction?
Dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction.
Vyas.
And if we go to construct a building, then and over the airplane, why we dig the earth and begin our foundation from the door position, something like that. A reaction, a setback. When one does something, he gets satisfaction. And after doing so much, he felt dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. That is to dig the ground, to put the structure there. I have given so much, but the subconsciousness, dissatisfaction says that you have done nothing. A reaction came. And then the structure was placed there. So dissatisfaction, satisfaction of the fulfillment of one's life, if possible. So the dissatisfaction of unfulfillment, non-fulfillment of one's life. That is dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. I have done nothing. Life is wasted. In the garb of doing so many things, I have deceived the people. Ultimately, I am told a background for that. And the Narad also came with such a stricture. Jugupshitam dharmo kiti nusasata. What you have done, that is most filthy thing. Jugupshitam means going to hateful things. Hateful things you have given, you have distributed to the world in the name of their real benefit. You are a treasurer. In the garb of an acharya, you have given delivery to things which is all sham. Not any real thing you have given to the world. And the reality is He, Krishna, the absolute good, not His halo, not the explanation of the description of the negative side of the world. The good and the bad in the negative wholesale is wrong. In a dream, good or bad, everything is bad, everything is false. So you have dealt with Sattva, Raja, Tama, Bhurvarsha, Mahajana, Satgulok, Mahalok, Jamalok, all in the negative side. And you feel a great satisfaction that you have given much to the world. But that within the jurisdiction of the negative side. And about positive, what you have told, that is non-understandable, a vague thing, a Brahma. What is Brahma? In Brahma Purva, in the domain of Brahma, everything is there, so many jewels. They are buried in the Brahmalok. Brahmalok means the halo of the of the real world of love divine. That is Brahmalok from outside, only the halo. And then on the Bhaj, on the last point, last plane of this mundane world of exploitation, you say there is something Brahma. And some Purushottam, all these things, vague things. But you have not given delivery of the real thing. God, the beloved, the lover of all the world, of the whole world. And every Jeev has got its fulfillment in his service. That's concrete, the full life fulfillment. You have not distributed to the world. So many forms and the fashions and the ornaments and in dignified language you have displayed, all empty things. In this way, Jugupsitam, mane goritam, ninditam. What you have done, that is blamable. Dharmokiti, because with this, the stamp is religion. But ultimately the thing is nothing bogus. It is the parcel. What parcel? This is nectar, but we find that it is poison. Dharmokiti nusasata sabhavaraktasya mahamratikama. Done a great misdeed to the world. Jadvakatu dharmaiti tarasthita no mantade. Because you were respected by the whole of the whole scholarly world, that you know the best what is religion. Now if anyone comes to give the real delivery of the real thing, people won't accept him at all. So I have come to you and you must do this thing. You must do. And that will be your penance, the compensation. So long you have only shown more or less the negative side. Now the positive side you are to supply. To you it must be supplied. Otherwise the people won't accept. In this way he was very satisfied. Doing so much for the world. In the ordinary calculation, he has done enough. Unestimable service he has done in the religious world. That is the general understanding of the people. But Devarshi Narad came and told. And before that he found non-plussed. He has done so much good for the world, but still he himself is not satisfied. What to satisfy others? But the giver himself, he does not feel peace in his mind. The giver of the so many good things to the world, he finds in himself that he is in want, he is not in peace, he is in misery, uneasiness. So in that highest order, what gave real peace to him, that will be considered easily that the real way to the peace to the world. Do you follow? Not clear?
Yes, Yes, Maharaj.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
fully clear. If anyone can understand, he may clarify. Vyas recommended to the world for their peaceful life. Don't steal others' property. Don't take forcibly possession of others' property. Love your neighbor, all these things, so many things, then you will find permanent peace in life. But the giver of all these things, he did not find peace in his mind, because what he gave, that really the valuation of that was very little. So he could not find peace in himself. The giver of peace, he is in non-peace. And then Narad came and told him what is real peace. You please take it from me and now give it, distribute to the public. Then you will find peace. And the verse says, I did so and I found real peace in my mind. And oh, the worldly people, you take it. What I have given before, that is not sufficient. What I give now, that is really peaceful. And you accept that. That was the thing. So hitherto, what was in possession of Vyasdev, that cannot contribute real peace to us. To show that, to us, and for its natural position as such, Vyasdev was in sorrow. He was in sorrow, not in peace. But when he got the real seed of peace from his Gurudev Devarshi Narada, you have lost peace of mind only. It is necessary that you will have to give real peaceful thing to the world. And it was affected in that way.
Maharaj?
Yes.
But one thing is that Vyasadeva, he had already given Mahabharata with Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. That is in seed unconsciously. That was given by him as an instrument what he did not conceive himself to the real standard. In Padma Puran and the other, but in Bhagavatam, he has given it. That is, hitherto his gift there was chance of being misconceived of the mundane world. the devotee, the devotion of Krishna, that might have been conceived as a part of this mundane world and Sattva Guna. But Bhagavat made it clear that it is over Brahmaloka, Chidvilas. Not within Sattva Guna, it is Nirguna. Nirguna. And Vasudev, he gave it, and not only by him, but when it came, percolated from the realization of Sri Shuka, it reached that standard. Just Chidvilas, not a Jaravilas. Not in the mental world, but in the transcendental world, the stealing, the lying, and the other autocratic movements, all is of absolute purity in the center. Infinite value of the highest order that was attached, that was made public of Krishna consciousness to the world when it came through the mouth of Sukadev. So Vyasu Vyakti Navyaktiva. But Vyas was living, and after 3 editions, the first or 4th edition, from Narad to Vyas only 10 lines, and Vyas to Shuka, that is few lines. And then Shuka to Parikshit, that was the main thing. And then last from Saunakadi, from Suta Goswami to Saunakadi Rishi, the 4th. And then Vasudev, the whole thing he put in a book form as last edition and sent it to the market. The 4th city, it is there. And the introduction, 3 slok, Janmadasya, Nigamakalpataru, Dharma Pujita. 3 introductory slok given by Vasudev, and it's sent to the market. What we, at present we get. So when came through Shuka, he got the Bhagavat, got the standard in the Chidvilas, over Vedanta. Previously it was mentioned, but the real characteristic to stand over in the standard transcendental world was not in up to mark, up to standard. And only narration. In Padma Puran, Brahma Vaivarta Puran, they had got only not the standard of philosophy, ontological standard, but narration, history, something like. But comparative study and the ontological position to this Krishna consciousness given mainly by Bhagavatam, when it came to the master, Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bhagavartha Vinirnaya Gayatri Bhasyaruposhu Vedartha Paribhinhita. So Gayatri, then Veda, Brahma Sutra, and Gita, Mahabharata, all these things, everything represented in nutshell here and something more. In this way, the Krishna consciousness in its fullest dignity we get, and when it can satisfy the scholars, Vedantic scholars, and supersede all the scholars, the Gyankanda. The Gyankanda, those that are Sadhvinists, they are the exploitationists like Jaimini. They had not so much credit in the society, but the credit was in the hand of the renunciationist. This Kapil, Patanjali, this Nayayik, this logical section that dealt with the meanings of the Veda. And Vedavyas had no other alternative but to to relieve them, this Vedanta, Uttar Mimamsa, that was given by Vasudev to combat the other opponents, that Sankhya, Yoga, etc. But that was also vague, like that is Brahma, not very discriminated, differentiated realm of the truth of Krishna consciousness. So there was necessity of Bhagavatam. Rasam, the highest thing is Ras, and not the intellectualism. In Vedanta and the other Shastras of the higher order, they are full of intellectualism, ontological jugglery. But that is Rasa. The Rasa is the upper hand of everything, Anandam, and not consciousness, not intelligence, not consciousness, not ontology, but ultimately the highest thing is Rasa Anandam, beauty, charm, harmony. That is all important. It was given in Bhagavatam, in Gopi Gita, in other places. That is Rasa, that is Ananda, that is not intellectual juggling. From the plane of intellectual jugglery, it is taken to the domain of Rasa in Bhagavatam, the unique treatise.
What will be the value of Chaitanya Charitamrita in comparison with the super excellent position of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Bhagavata has got a general position in Sanskrit and also in exclusive information, historical reference, and dealings with many of the in various departments of the intellectualist. That has got his position. But if we are to consider the very gist of Bhagavatam, then we get Chaitanya Charitamrita above that. Above that. Because in Bhagavatam, other things are also mentioned, many things, which is not so much necessary. But it was considered to be necessary to maintain the positions of Bhagavatam, the Dhara Mandala Samstha, the geographical position, the historical position, all these things are mentioned. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is the very essence, and that is also that was articulated by Shukadev's realization, and here is coming from that is articulated from Mahaprabhu, the Krishna Radha Govinda Krishna Milita Tanu, the combined Radha Govinda. Through him it is coming in this intensified glory, more purer glory from Chaitanya Charitamrita we have. And not many things which apparently may seem undesirable and unnecessary in Bhagavatam. So many things, so many stories. But that will be for the selected few, not for all. Bhagavat will have more spacious jurisdiction than Charitamrita. But connotation, increased connotation we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita than in Bhagavad. Bhagavad has got its influence over a larger area, the Madhacharya, the Vishnu Swami, the Nimbarka, the Ramanuja, and the Sanatani, they have got some sort of obligation to us, Bhagavata, that is coming from Vyasdev. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is a more selected group, and who understands that, he thinks that this is more useful and more safe and more giving up purer conception of Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, who are attracted by Bhagavatam, there may be some room of misconception. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that misconception has been mostly eliminated. Prakrita, to conceive it as mundane. More caution is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But still, those that recognize Chaitanya Charitamrita to be the highest standard, they are also seen and engaged in filthy practices like the Sahaja, Aul Baul, etc. The fate. Hare Krishna, Gaul Hari. Gaul Hari, Gaul Hari, Gaul Hari, Gaul Hari, Gaul Hari, Nidai Gaul Hari, Gaul. Nidai Gaul Hari, Gaul, Nidai Gaul Hari, Gaul. Govinda.
Maharaj,
Yes.
I have heard one explanation of how the river Gandhaki appeared, and I do not know if it is true, the explanation. Can you say, is there some explanation how Gandhaki river has appeared?
How?
River Gandhaki.
Gandhaki.
Yes. How the appearance.
Appearance of
Took place.
Gandhaki river.
Yes.
I don't know the history.
I've heard one story.
Yes.
There was a discussion between Lakshmi, Saraswati, and I think Parvati.
Yes.
And they were trying to understand who is the most chaste woman in the universe. So Narad Muni, they consulted Narad Muni, and he said that actually none of these three is the most chaste, but the most chaste is this one prostitute. So they were very shocked, and they went to Vishnu. And so Vishnu, he approached Narad Muni and he said yes. Narad Muni said yes, there is this one woman and she is the most chaste. So Vishnu thought he would test her. She was a prostitute, so he appeared before her as a leper. And so she brought him into, her maidservant greeted the leper, and then the maidservant went to the prostitute and said, there is this gentleman here, and the prostitute said, yes, show him in. So the maidservant said, but he is a leper. And the woman said, no, that is all right, just show him in. So then she prepared a big banquet, and then she served it to the leper. And he ate everything, but as he was eating, some of his skin fell into the food. So the maidservant, when the leper was finished eating, the maidservant brought the remnants before the woman, and the woman ate the remnants of the leper. And then she saw the skin there, and she ate even the skin. So in this way she served the leper with great devotion. She served the leper. And I don't remember so clearly, but Vishnu, who was coming before her as the leper, he was very impressed with her devotion. And so he said, yes, because you are so devoted, you will be the Gandhaki river, and I will appear within your waters as Shalagram Shila.
I don't know that. Where it is found in any Puran?
I've only heard it from
come across, but I see some sort of rasabhas there. Vishnu accepted the prostitute, not mother, is it? The prostitute and Vishnu, that leper, the
Yes.
connection
Yes.
was that of wife and husband or mother and son.
I think more wife and husband.
Then how that prostitute who was accepted as wife, she can be transformed to be the mother of Shalagram Shila.
Yes, I see.
So there must be some misconception, misdescription perhaps. I want to see the original thing, then
Yes.
I can give decision.
I see.
But here, there's some anomaly we find in the story.